Well, you sit in the situation, you're like, man, am I just being like a whiny little bitch right now? I think about that sometimes. That's important for me to really.
I save my whiny bitching for when I work out.
Yeah, do you bitch a lot when you work out?
Oh yeah, it's an advantage to sweating is you can hide your tears and just pretend to sweat.
You just tear up in the gym, just let it go.
Constantly.
Yeah.
No, you don't work out that hard.
I mean, I work out that hard. I just don't cry about it.
You don't?
I got this like Rambo thing going. Like I don't have feelings. I put all my feelings deep down inside and away from me. So then they like rot me from the inside
I
out.
sense that from people sometimes at the gym at On It. They're
What?
chilling. They have that moment where they're just feeling that way.
What?
But I come from like a yoga background, so everyone's like more. They're just more happy looking. How you say?
I think that's called vibrant. I think that's what they call that.
Happy looking versus looking like they're gonna like fuck someone up. But you got to get into that
do
mode.
People walk
when
around on it like they're gonna fuck somebody up.
No, I just know that face when you're like you're being trained like somebody was. Yeah, being. We're not talking about fitness.
We are talking. This isn't about fitness. This is life. This is This is a lifestyle and personal development podcast. We're
Okay,
talking about
cool.
whatever.
Yeah, no, I just noticed like you take on a certain energy when you're being trained by someone like Primal, for example. Like that was the situation. He was like running and like doing med ball slams and just, he's got this fierce look on his face. Whereas there's a very different dynamic when we're doing our flows. It's like you're in a calm state, you're expressing.
So do you think that style is a little bit more that the flow style lends itself to a little bit more relaxed?
Yeah.
Facial features?
Facial features and the energetic feeling that you create. But I like both. Like I like to
Yeah, they both. I mean,
get
they
into
both
that
play.
fierce mode and then
Yeah. Well, the way you hold your face when you train, it's a big piece of everything. We talked about that whenever we'd be doing rowing intervals or anything that was repetitive and cyclical. Was like if you can relax your face and your whole body will stay relaxed. That's actually how I got into breathing and breath work was through training. It was like if I can relax my face and then like keep my breath in a place that I was in control, whenever things would normally stress me out, my blood pressure would go up. And people don't know that when your blood pressure goes up, you can't utilize oxygen for fuel anymore. You go to glycolytic, so you get hot. And so if you can keep your heart rate down, doing repetitive things, then you can maintain
I'm
for
all
longer.
about that. Do you practice the suspension of breath, like you inhale and pause at the top of the breath and then exhale?
No, you guys are gonna geek me out on this.
That definitely helps you trigger your parasympathetic even more, so it will help you train your heart rate to go down as you're doing something kind of stressful. Yeah, the suspended breath. It's just that moment where you pause. It's like when you're, smoking a joint.
Like, yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go.
Hold it.
For a second.
But it's a technique. It's called kumbhaka. Look that shit up.
Kumbhaka?
Kumbhaka.
That sounds like a ninja or something. I
think it is.
Asian cartoon.
No, it's
I've learned so many words hanging around Summer.
really.
Were you a wordsmith, Summer?
No, I'm not a wordsmith actually.
A wordsmith and a mace specialist. So at what point in your life, both of you guys, did y'all decide like I'm gonna just spend a large part of my time just swinging around like heavy metal sticks? That's what you do. You can call it whatever you want.
Gradual progression to becoming a warrior.
It's a difficult thing to describe, so I think that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, I
Swing
mean,
around,
I've been thinking about that one
swinging
for
things around.
Yeah, you're just swinging things around, but you're doing it. It's like in Toy Story. Did you watch that movie?
Fucking A.
Yeah, where he's like Buzz Lightyear's like flying, but it's like falling with style. It's kind of the same thing. You're just like you're swinging sticks around that are made of metal, but they're like with style.
Didn't you
With
start
style.
with like a hammer though? Because he was swinging like big sledgehammers.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar, 2014, he was working out the sledgehammer. And I was like,
He was doing flow arts with this.
you know what? That would have been an awesome weapon for martial arts. I was in martial arts, I did karate, and like used the bow staff and the katana. And I just remember thinking that would have been an awesome thing to get into. And I started working out the sledgehammer as if it was like a katana.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
So you just decided to like adapt a sledgehammer into a katana. What's a katana?
Like a samurai sword.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
but
a samurai
they
sword.
operate extremely differently. All the weight of the sword's at the bottom versus a mace or a hammer where all the weight's on top. So, it was a very difficult transition trying to make the two marry.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I thought it was a good time, and it just progressed from there.
And then when did you get your hands on the first proper mace?
So I skipped out on a kettlebell certification and ended up talking to the guy who was doing the kettlebell certification and asked him if he had ever heard of a mace. And he's like, yeah, I fucking swing one every day. His name's Ken Blackburn.
Okay.
And I was just so blown away that somebody else knew what a fucking mace was. And he's the coolest guy. He's like, hey, I'll send you a couple. So he sent 3 steel mace on it steel maces to the gym, and that was it. Fucking hooked.
So once you got into it, you're like, this is my thing.
I didn't really. Yeah, it was like I like putting puzzles together.
Yeah.
And like fitness related and being in martial arts and like this transition leads into this submission, leads into this position type of martial arts background. So when I found the mace, it was just like there were a lot of puzzles to build with it.
Yeah.
And the path wasn't necessarily rode out like as it has been with like barbells or things that have been around for a long time. Well, the mace has been around for a long fucking time, but people just like tend to stand still and work out with it.
Yeah.
And my martial arts background was like, you need to get the fuck out of the way. You can't block everything. Just fucking move. It's easier.
We need complexity in our training. Like it's very stimulating to the mind to be able to have all these different directions to go in and really like own like the spatial awareness of your body.
Yeah.
It's really
So what was your path? You said you have a yoga background into Macehood.
Into Macehood. It was a natural progression for me because I'd been training with clubs and club bells for a long time. Like it's founded Club Bell Yoga. So
you founded Club Bell Yoga.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
It's a fusion of Indian club practice, CST, and classical asana. So basically, it's like a high performance yoga training.
Cool.
Create yoga ninjas.
Yeah.
Basically. So I've been yielding like clubs in these flows in a very similar way that Leo had been doing his steel mace flows. And when I saw it, I was like, whoa, that's like my dude, that's my brother in flow. And so it's just been cool to now pick up the mace and just know, I've just kind of started making my own transitions and stuff. And now I've learned from Leo and to merge those two things. To merge the two, it's just like you do all the things. Well, that's one thing about flexibility within the fitness realm, or like self-expression in any way. But it's easy. It's easier to put it into that, in my opinion, to put it into the gym or into your workout routines. Like exploring yourself physically in that realm is like there's not as much judgment there, right? Like sexually, if you want to explore yourself, there's a lot of boundaries. There's a lot of barriers to entry to get into certain things. Like, say you want to get into BDSM, it's like, well, where the fuck do I start?
Right.
It's almost easy to be like, well, I know that I want to explore some self-expression in some way physically, so I can just go do an on-it class or jump into a mace certification.
Maybe they should start adding those classes onto the schedule. I bet
the BDSM classes. Oh, I think it would be a hit.
It would.
Yeah, when they expand
I'd go to it.
Just like a starter class,
I've actually been curious about the BDSM piece.
Like it's ropes and gags.
I would jump into that. I would jump into that with the dominatrix was around. I'd be like, I'll see what's up.
Yeah, I'm sure in West Hollywood that's a thing.
Oh, I'm sure. It's all over the place. I just want to call it into my life. I would manifest it into
Let's manifest that right now. We're putting that out into the universe.
We're going to get so many weird DMs. Thanks. Thank you so much.
I did go to a hot Pilates class where I was sexually assaulted by a very hot instructor. So
did you get sexually assaulted by a hot instructor?
It felt good.
Are you hashtag me tooing right now?
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah? Did you feel like she had a power over you?
I gave her a little bit of power over me.
So did she like grab your like
I didn't know
hips
her.
or
I didn't know her.
something?
She smacked my ass.
She smacked your
full
ass.
on, put us all on a hip hinge, and I didn't know her at all. And
wow,
really?
She lit my ass up.
So how did you feel at that
sweating,
moment?
So it was a sweaty,
Was your instinct to be like protective, or were you down? You were so down.
I would not.
I gave her the look that I'm into that shit.
What did you say you would do?
No, I'd totally be into that. I wouldn't have been.
I didn't shy away.
Like I've been sexually assaulted so many times, and I'm just like cool with it. I just roll with it.
Yeah,
there was things like I was at a club one time, just out with a buddy of mine, and it was me and him. We just went like, let's go have a beer, and it turned into one of the most epic nights of our lives.
Beautiful.
And we were out at this place called Barbarella in Austin, and if you live here or been here, you know what this place is. And it was like 2:30 in the morning. We were with 2 bachelorette parties. And there were things that were happening to both of us, and I was like, if we were women and these were men, this is full-on sexual assault.
Oh, so
like full-on, like hair being pulled, clothes being ripped open. Like
women get a little primal at bachelorette parties. Like shit gets real.
They get tribal as fuck. It's like this mob mentality.
And this started as let's go have a couple beers. And
yeah,
you end up finding 2.
It's part of the ceremony.
We had one Molly capsule just laying around. We're like, let's eat this and we'll just go have a couple beers and see what happens. And it was like one of those nights where it was it just opened up into everything. We ended up being up to like 5 in the morning. We went swimming in Town Lake. It was just weird.
Sounds like a great day.
It was one of the best days of my life for sure.
Nice.
But it was definitely some sexual assault directed at me and him.
It's interesting because
I was totally down with it.
In other places, like we've actually explored this quite a bit in my yoga teacher training, because there's a lot of situations coming up like that in LA that are quite the opposite, where men are doing that they're taking advantage of their seat of teacher and
They're taking
like literally
their
grab
teachers?
they're teachers, and they will literally go up and like fondle women's breasts like without asking. Like this is a thing, so it's kind of being discussed. And
Permission is so lame. Just kidding.
It's called consent
Oh,
culture.
is it?
You know about consent? Come on, you're
yes,
into
I know
BDSM.
about consent. Come on, dude.
All right, sorry.
I'm not into BDSM. No, we actually had the girls from the Shameless Sex podcast came on. We talked a lot about consent.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super important in different ways. And I think there's one thing about guys. It's Joe Rogan had this quote. I talked about this. It's like when you're horny as fuck as a guy, it's like a chimpanzee is driving the school bus, and you're like at the very back of it, and it's just happening to you. And then once you come, you're back in the driver's seat again. So you can see sometimes.
It's a great visual, great analogy.
God.
Joe
You know what I'm talking
Rogan-
about?
Oh, yeah.
He's
You're
always
like,
on point.
my like decision making isn't really gonna. I don't know. So being able to check in with yourself in those times and be like, okay, remember to listen and. Keep some self-awareness, just a little bit, like at least a half of what you normally would have, and don't be a fucking
Practice consent.
Almost used
Just
politically incorrect language
practice
there.
consent. Just remind yourself to practice.
Yeah, practice consent.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
It's an action.
So you're saying that in LA, there's a lot of people.
There's just
that's
a lot of
becoming a thing.
there's a lot of issues because there's a lot of really beautiful, yoga instructors out there. It's like a whole culture. It's a kind of a hub for that. And yeah, just certain teachers it's been like in the news, and there's been a lot of politics around it. And so we just discuss it in our training just to make sure that we're aware of that and how to handle those situations.
Yeah. Well, it's challenging too, because you get a bunch of like-minded, fit people in a group together doing the thing and like creating camaraderie. And then it's a weird deal. There's like power dynamics with teachers. Like that's a
But
fantasy
it's
for a
also
reason.
interesting hearing your guys' perspective as males, and then you guys are like, bring it on, I like that. And then it's like the girls are like, no. But some girls actually like it. That's the other thing, is those teachers have many people in their classes that do really like it. So it's kind of like you're being weaned out. It's like, hey, I'm just gonna grab your nip here and just see if you're cool with that, and if you're not, then make room for the other ladies.
I mean,
because there's a lot of people that are down.
well,
So, anyway,
Leo, what do you think
carry on.
when if someone makes it too easy? That's not really that fun either.
Nah.
You know,
Well,
it's
I
just
guess
an
it depends. Sometimes easy's good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sometimes just like the barrier to entry being low is.
Yeah. I had a sexual experience where
Wait, you've had sex before?
yeah, a couple times.
He's had a sexual experience.
Oh, a sexual-ish experience.
Yeah, this girl said she liked my beard, grabbed my beard, and took me home, and it was very easy. It wasn't complicated at all.
Wow.
Well, that's a different
I
conversation.
just like, so that was easy. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, just
Sometimes the hunt, though, is
The
important.
hunt.
yeah, the hunt is the pursuit. Actually, like even living here, hosting a small podcast, doing my thing. Like my life is inherently chaotic. So when I'm thinking about like dating, I'm like, I just need somebody who's like, get your shit together hot. Like, where I'm like,
Get
you're
your
a little
shit together.
Yeah, it's like you're just a little bit outside of my league. I'm like, okay, you're awesome. I like this. I need to like.
I need to get
You
my
need to
shit
step
together.
up your you need to step up your game a little. But then there's a weird
I'm
power
gonna
dynamic
Get
there
your,
too.
get,
I'm
get your
writing
shit,
that down.
Yeah, get your shit together hot.
That's
is
beautiful.
Yeah,
Describes it.
I legit made that up like on saw this girl. I was like, oh, she's like, get your shit together hot. I was like, that's a thing for sure, and it is a thing.
But then will
Like,
you actually get your shit together and then surpass her, or will she always be like have her shit slightly more
It
sorted?
depends on the kind of guy you are. Like I'm okay. I always like to. I don't necessarily need to be. It's funny when you think about dating. It's like either with somebody who's stable enough to keep you grounded, or somebody who's just totally gets it. That is also just a mess. You know what I mean? It's like you have to. It's like I have neither no pressure to be anything besides myself, or like somebody who can like add a little bit of well-needed structure to your life.
Or you can just have one of each. And
Yeah,
have all the
that's
things.
that's ideal. That would be ideal. I don't know if that's ideal.
Then it
Yeah.
balances you out.
Is that what your practice
Oh,
is?
no.
To have one of each?
No,
you just
no,
like
no.
fit your demographics all of your life at one time?
No, I have a very awesome partner. He grounds me quite a bit. And then I'm also bi, so I occasionally have other partners that are female. So yes, and some might have different characteristics.
That sounds like a perfect scenario for him.
Well, he does not always date them, but
I know, but it's just the stories would be.
But they're usually really good friends. Anyway, carry on. Enough about my sex life. I can talk.
Summer doesn't like talking about her sex life on podcasts,
No.
but Leo does anyway.
I'm into it.
The hunt. Let's bring it back to the hunt. This is important.
The hunt.
What does the hunt look like for you? When do you know that you're about to go on the hunt, Leo?
I'll tell you about
when do
the
those
fucking
instincts
hunt.
kick in?
I was in a relationship for a long time. I'll tell you a story to answer that question. And so, as a defense mechanism to keep that relationship together, being a personal trainer, I worked around a lot of beautiful women, and instead of acknowledging that these women, I was sexually attracted to these women, I would just say, "That's a lot of hard work." Well, once I got out of the relationship, I realized that a lot of that hard work I'm attracted to fit people. So my process
are you attracted to me?
of the hunt. No. Well,
Am I not fit enough
you
for
know,
you, Leo?
used to be
I am.
in better shape.
I love that love tattoo
Maybe I could
right
be
there. You got on
maybe
your
I
forearm.
could be your get your shit together.
Is that what this podcast is really about?
So-
You just want to leave it come
Well,
over.
you know, like when I see somebody move, I'm attracted to that, and like from that instance of like seeing somebody express themselves in movement, up until I have their heels in the air is the hunt.
I was just gonna see how you were tying it back into the hunt, but
The hunt.
you did it so classily.
Yeah, so you're like your big key there is movement.
I like
And being able to
movement.
move.
I like seeing how people move.
I think actually seeing how people move in the gym, and I spent so much time in the gym. But there's a thing, if you move goofy in the gym, like it's such a it's
or
like,
on the dance floor.
Yeah, well, no, dance floor is different. To me, the dance floor is different.
Yeah,
'Cause
okay,
if you can
okay.
have a good attitude on the dance floor,
Yeah.
and you're like I'm goofy as shit on the dance floor. I'm one of the most awkward dancers ever, and I only started really dancing the
Prove
last
it.
couple of years. But I just have a good time with it. And it's like that's to me. I'm like, all right, and that's other people that are like that. I'm like, that's cool because that means you're like not
You
super
own it though. You
self-conscious.
own it, and
Exactly.
you're like in your
Versus
You're in your
See, at
versus
the
like
gym, it's bad.
but the gym sometimes I see people that are like that do like these weird cleans or they just I don't know, the things aren't really jiving or they don't really know how to, and it just especially with girls, I'm just like, what are you doing with yourself? I don't understand. Like how does it's like it doesn't
So you judge girls by how they work out. You're
Yes.
Like, okay,
Oh,
you guys
100%.
have that in common. That's
Yeah.
great.
I can't help it. It's like I don't have any because I've also been so attracted to the way people move. Like the CEO of On It, Aubrey, gives me so much shit for liking girls that are like muscular, and I'm like, it's not even about that. It's like the fact that they're disciplined and they developed a skill and they can move really well. And then it's like that to me, I know what goes into that, and I've been a part of that. And it's like it's attractive to me because I know what behind the scenes is. So it's like the like physical stature of someone is less important than me. That's like the symptom of me knowing like what all goes into that, and that's attractive. All the finished product is like the tip of the iceberg, but all the stuff that goes into
That's
it's
cool.
really
I like
attractive to
that.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I respect that.
So if you work out like an idiot, then I just can't really get on board with it. Because
It's working for me.
You're
I work out like a fucking idiot.
No, you don't, dude. You're one of the best movers I've ever seen.
Thanks,
Get out of here, man.
Appreciate that.
I saw you in the first time I ever saw Leo. He was at On It gym, and the bay door was open, and all I saw was a silhouette of him just like macing. I was like, who is that magical creature?
Oh, I think I
over there?
remember that. You
Yeah.
were working out back then.
Dude, what the fuck? I work out all the time.
Yeah, our schedules are just different. Every time I see you,
Yeah.
you're drinking coffee.
Well, you go in the
on a podcast.
On a it's
You know-
the podcast life, dude. It's crazy.
We saw you
I
yesterday.
appreciate it.
You were
I mean,
going to work
I
out.
really use that lobby to hang out and get shit done.
Yeah.
So
It's like I get that from my granddad. I started working with my granddad when I was like 6 or 7. He used to just take me with him to work.
right?
Yeah, so we worked.
Same experience.
Grew up in like a oil and gas world, right? So he
Okay.
pumped his own wells and stuff. And when you own production like that, the properties are segmented off and like there's a lot of gates. So one big piece of property will have like 4 or 5 gates on it because they'll rotate cattle. So they have to have these gates up, right? So whenever you have to open your own gates, it's kind of a pain in the ass. You got to get out of your car a lot. So when I was a kid, I would just like remember the combinations and jump out and like open the gates. I was like the gate opener. And when we were kids, we'd always go to the cafe in the morning, and like the girls at the cafe were always really sweet to me, and like that was like a part of my life. Was like going to hang out with the girls at the cafe and like get, I didn't get coffee when I was a kid, but like get pancakes or something. And then so now I realized that the other day when I was there, I was like, I just like going to the cafe like the first thing in the morning and like getting coffee and like shooting the shit with people. It's like a very important
It's a
part of my
ritual
life.
for
Yeah.
you, and it brings you.
It's an awesome experience to be able to do that.
Yeah,
State of
and it's
connection.
very nostalgic. Actually, my granddad's coming to town today. We're gonna have to go have lunch later.
You know what day?
Yeah,
you know what day
he's a
it
boss.
is?
Go ahead.
Do you know what day it is?
Oh, it's fucking.
It's 420. Oh, and he wanted some edibles too. I got some edibles for him.
Oh, for your grandpa?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll give you some too. If you want some.
My man. I train for this day year round.
Yeah. I can't smoke that much anymore. Like, what's your relationship with cannabis like?
It's deep.
It's deep. The roots run deep.
She wakes me up and puts me to bed at night.
You wake and bake?
I would. Okay. Yes, all the time, every day. I was smoking with my friend, and we were getting fucking lit. And I was like, all right, I gotta go. I'm gonna take off driving my car. And my buddy goes, "You're gonna fucking drive? You're pretty lit." And I was like, "You do realize that whenever you see me swinging my mace around, I'm fucking high as a kite."
Dude, swinging a mace high is fun.
Okay, so
and I've weightlifted high. Like, I used to be a competitive weightlifter, so it's like I would weightlift high, and it was so fun.
Actually, cannabis and working out got the relationship there was fuck cardio. I hate cardio.
Yeah.
So anything to make cardio better.
Dude, I would get high and go sit on an assault bike for 30 minutes and
Right.
listen to like deep house, and it was like one of the best experiences of my life.
I think
I should do that more often.
We did edibles and cardio.
Man, you know what? You're opening my eyes to a whole new part
I'm
of life.
growing my
here that-
fucking hair out.
No, dude, don't do that.
All right.
I
I actually I had a decently long hair, but it's been fucked up a few times. Anyways, yeah. So smoking weed, listening to music, and doing cardio is where I formed my relationship with working out. And anyways, I got into like flow through TRX. I used to do I was big into suspension training, and I was always researching like TRX moves, and I found this really neat video of a girl doing TRX flow, basically going from like movement to movement to movement, and she had some like neat transitions. And so I would get high, go to the gym, hang out on my TRX trainers for some length of time, and I've
You would
never
just fly,
stopped.
just fly on this.
I used to take like 3 months out of the year to not smoke just to make sure I could, and then I gave up on that. I really committed to this.
See, with me, it kind of happened. I just didn't do it as much. But now that I think about it, like I use a fuck ton of CBD. So a company sponsors the show, or we're affiliated with, called Hemp Lucid, and their shit is so good, dude. It's a whole plant extract. It's incredible. And I'll do, since they hook it up, like I'll do more than most people would. Mm-hmm. And CBD, I think the thing with me is that I have a high volume of cannabinoid receptors. So I get super fucking high really easily. Mm-hmm. And even taking CBD, I'll get high kind of.
You feel it?
Yeah, so I'll do like 100 milligrams of CBD at one time.
It's optimizing your body. Of course,
it's
you're
so
gonna feel.
good.
Of course, you're gonna feel a little high because
Yeah.
everything's like resonating at a good frequency.
But it's like almost get a little bit goofy and like loopy. It's fun. And then every now and then I'll just like this, for me it's almost like using it as like a dissociate now, where I'll just smoke like a joint by myself and watch a movie and just be completely like turned off. And that's the best way to do it. But I haven't smoked and gone to the gym in a while, and I think I want to do that again. I haven't done that in a while.
What are you doing later?
I've actually got a mushroom ceremony later.
Oh yes.
Oh man, I got to get into that. I need to have a ceremony.
Get ceremonied up. Those things are so fucking crazy, man, and it's so nice. It's
Tell
the
us
perfect
about
timing.
your ceremony. Have you spoken much about it? Or no? Do you not
The
talk?
style.
Oh, do you have like what's the goal?
Oh, the goal for me, the intention is going into this. So it's a good friend of mine who's actually she's gone through like for her first experience just recently with me, and we're going through it again. And she's, not to give too much away, but she in her career, like she works a lot with like inmates and people that have really really serious addiction and trauma. So she's like a trauma healer is kind of what you look at like and so for her this has been a really cool introduction into some things that can unpack and unwind some trauma in her own life as well. So it's been really amazing to be a part of that with her and be like the person that has introduced her to this thing that whenever you look at this, like has the capacity to go do some work with maps and stuff like that, like in the work that they're doing, which is the Multidisciplinary Association of Psychedelic Studies, and they're in stage 3 clinical trials with psilocybin and MDMA.
Fantastic.
So it's like having friends that are like being able to facilitate for someone who actually has the capacity to go and like
Do
the work.
Yeah.
You know. Here I am just like hosting a podcast trying to spread the word, but it's like having that is really, really, I'm really grateful for that. So my intention going into this one tonight is I want to go look into soul contracts.
Oh yeah.
We talked about this. Yeah. So this is something that's new. It's a new soul contracts and chords are something that are new to me. A friend of mine named Jen, she's a sweetheart. She's crazy Buddhist. She's awesome. She's a Shambhala Buddhist, so she doesn't renounce anything. She's just like full on gangster. But she's hilarious, and she just like we just randomly met at this coffee shop one time, and she's schooled me up on a lot of this. She's become like a teacher for me, and she's encouraged me to, next time I go into a mushroom ceremony, just go find your soul contracts. And the way that I understand soul contracts is that at a soul level, you've made an agreement to teach each other something in life, in the manifestation of human life. This is getting really woo-woo. It's still fun as shit. So you've made this agreement at the soul level, right? Which you're not conscious of in life. It's just you. That's why you're entangled, and that's why you get stuck connected to people that you want to pull away from, but there's like that draw there. So she goes, if you set the intention and get into the unseen world in a way that you can see your soul contracts and see them laid out, then you can change them. You can adjust them, or you can get rid of things and start to, okay, that's the lesson I need to learn. Got it. Cool. I'll check that box and move on to the next thing.
And then you cut the cord? Or did you talk about
and
cords?
And then cords, I don't know about you may know more about cords than me because you're out there. But no, it's funny. I just got that explained to me. It's like the funny things about cords when you make that connection. It's that there's a draw of energy like both ways. And one thing I started to realize is how much connections like take everything back and forth, and you got to be really conscious of like what's yours and what's not. But to be able to see the chords too, like just going, I just want to be able to like be able to see those things and let go of some things that are really not serving me anymore.
There's a meditation practice you can do too with cutting the cord. So for somebody, for example, if you have someone in your life that's caused you a lot of just pain and growth, and you've served that time and your soul contract is up, there's a very specific meditation that you can walk through where you basically close your eyes, you visualize the cord, a golden cord from you and the other person, like wherever they're at, and it's like an umbilical cord, there's energy going through it.
Yeah.
And then you take and you basically like cut the cord. And so that actual like somatic response of you cutting the cord in the meditation, there's a whole like 30-minute guided meditation for it.
There's a bunch of them. You can find them all over the place.
Yeah, then it just helps you kind of release. I did that.
Yeah. So tell me about that. So you're familiar with like cord cutting. So like what when did you realize that was a thing? Like that's a thing.
I was meditating on like a hill overlooking the water, and my girlfriend at the time actually walked me through it, and she was into tantra and into meditation and just very aware and in touch, and she walked me through it, and it was really helpful. I have a son, a 4.5-year-old son, so it was like cutting the cord of that chapter of my life with his father. 7 years of you do develop an energetic bond that sometimes the cord needs to be cut, and you can take your mind. Your mind is so powerful that symbolism of cutting the cord allows you to actually then release some of the attachment.
The visions that you can get into through meditation and the practices you can create in your imagination, like actually using your imagination, is so powerful. But when did you realize that energetic exchange was happening, right? Like the cord existed. Like when was that?
I had no idea. Like we were just chilling.
So you didn't know.
It wasn't like it wasn't like we planned it. It was just
she
then walked me through this meditation. I've used it actually for a couple of my friends since then, and it's been helpful for them. So
that's awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's the weirdest.
So whether or not it's in your imagination or it actually is some sort of energetic cord.
Yeah.
Regardless, you have control to take control. You have the ability to take control of that in your imagination and then let go of it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like the imagination it's funny. I was actually listening to Alan Watts again, which I always revisit when I'm going through something. I'm like, he's the best. So 4 Ways to Center is what I'm listening to now, which is like a 3-hour talk on Audible. And it's so funny because I just finished watching Westworld season 1 again, and it's like basically talking about the exact same shit that Westworld talks about. But I digress.
Alan Watts.
So yeah, and I was listening to Alan Watts talk about this, and it was like we think about the words play and imagination and game as like it's just a game, or it's just play, or it's just your imagination. And it's like, no, motherfucker, like it's all that. That is all of it.
Thank you. Yeah, I like that
it's
too.
It's not just play, like it is play. Like the fact that this podcast from inception to now is a fucking game. And it doesn't mean it's like little because it's a game. No, it's huge because it's a game. And so is the entire government structure. And so is how all of our relationships work. Like it's all play and it's all a game and it's all a dance. And it's not just anything. It is everything. And that's so fun to see and so fun to think about that. So when you think about your imagination, it's very similar. It's like, well, are you using your imagination? Like we get told that as kids all the time, like to use your imagination. And then at a certain point, we quit using our imagination. And then our imagination then just creates fucking stories out of whatever the fuck triggers are in our lives, and then it still does things because it has to be used because it's essentially a mental and emotional muscle that we just pretend doesn't exist. And it's like, no, you can use your imagination to literally create a game plan or create your reality. Like, that's what the law of attraction is. The law of attraction is like, okay, who am I? Like, let me figure out that. Where do I want to go? What does that look like? And then I can literally, through my imagination in my mind's eye, like, build exactly what that would take to get there. And then I have context on what to look out for. So then I can actually fucking see the things that are right in front of my face. But the first thing you have to do is accept that there's things right in front of your face that you can't fucking see because you don't have context on them. And then once you figure that out, and you never see everything, but you can like start taking steps in the right direction.
Also, everything that you've created in your physical reality is like a manifestation of your thoughts. So once you learn to manipulate that or learn to control that, you can take your imagination and manifest whatever you want. You manifest your own reality.
Yeah, and the word manifest is funny. You know,
manifesting, I just think it's like taking a thought, putting it into action, then it actually putting in the work, putting in the creativity, and then it actually like turns into something solid.
The funny thing that people
like
miss there
podcast.
is the action piece. It's like it's a thought into reality. Like people are like, oh no, there's a vital point in the middle where it's like you got to do shit.
Yeah.
Third chakra.
Sure. What's the third?
It goes from the cosmos through your crown chakra. And then you visualize it in your third eye. So you see it with your imaginations. You're activating various networks of your brain. Then you speak it, and then it becomes in like your throat chakra. So it moves down the chakras. This is my theory anyway.
No, this is great. I love
this. And
this.
then heart chakra, you bring it into relationship with people. So you talk about it, you build a team, you like share ideas. And then third chakra is the work, the discipline, the motivation, the drive, like the elbow grease to get it actually like happening. And then second chakra, creativity. So then you put your own flavor on it and make it all, uniquely you. And then manifestation, root. So it's actually like your feet connected to the ground, your root chakra. It's like then turning that, like the Flow State Summit, for example, that started as an idea for 2 years, percolating on it, then talking about it, then building the team, then building people, then all the logistics of getting it dialed. And then now it's actually like an event and experience that's actually going to be like carried out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think.
I love that.
And as you're a balanced human, you're able to quicken that gap between the ideas phase and the actual like manifestation. Manifestation's not just a woo-woo word, like it's actually
it's a thing. Yeah,
means something.
And even in the Alan Watts talk, he was talking about it. It's almost like he's talking about it as like reincarnation. He had to like use it. And of course, he was making it like there was 4 R's to this thing, but it's like, you're making it real. But there's a long process to that. I love the way that the parallel between the chakras and manifestation. It's really fucking cool. I love that. I may have to get you to do a video on that and put it in the Facebook group.
It's somatics. It's like being able to sense your body's somatic feedback in those areas. So if you're blocked and you feel restriction here because you're not bringing it into relationship with people, or you're not able to like speak it, you're not able to articulate it, it's like you just look at that blockage, and then how can you take action to then prove the opposite to yourself? And like, sorry, that's what I do. I feel like I'm getting. I'm getting a little wooey here.
No, we're in it now. Cool. It's too late. If anybody's scared of woo, they fucking turn this shit off already.
It's always fun when somebody takes you down the rabbit hole, and then midway through, they're like, I'm getting a little bit.
I'm like, are we cool? Just checking in. Is there consent?
You don't need to. Don't apologize for just going down rabbit holes. That's what the podcast is tangential as fuck and has really no game plan, so that can happen.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's the game plan, though.
Exactly.
No game plan.
Exactly.
It's a fucking great plan.
It is a great plan.
I like tangential.
Tangential?
Tangential.
I stole it from Chris Ryan. I didn't know what that word meant. Actually, most of my intellect.
Taking tangents.
Yeah, exactly. Most of my intellect comes from Chris Ryan's speech in some form or fashion.
You gotta have somebody to look up to,
I know, dude.
I have a few of those.
It's funny, and that's the thing about podcasts that are really interesting. Is like I was listening to him, Chris, and Joe Rogan and Duncan Trussell one time when they're like the little shrimp parade. I was actually deer hunting, so I would listen to podcasts while I deer hunt. Whenever like
that changes the game of hunting.
Deer hunting, like bow hunting.
You have bow hunt, and you sit there for like 2 hours while the sun's kind of up and there's like nothing going on. So I would just listen to either Sam Harris or Chris Ryan or like whatever. It was like this is fun. I would listen to a book or Alan Watts even, which was kind of a weird experience to be like in complete silence and standing in a tree just listening to Alan Watts. Fantastic. But I started to realize I was like, why do I like these podcasts so much and why are they so interesting to me? Because really the information I'm getting from these guys, I've already gotten, right? I've read their books. I've seen their stuff. I've seen their work. They're not really sharing that much new information. Every now and then I'll get something. But what I really started to understand is that I loved seeing people's thought patterns and how they thought about something. Like I got more out of what you thinking, like the lateral processing that it takes to understand how the chakras be involved in manifestation, and you putting all that together, I got more from you, the way you thought about that, than the actual information.
Interesting.
And so you can embody people's thought patterns, right? So if you see how somebody that you appreciate and respect in the world got to a thought, or how their thought process works, if they're good at articulating that, then you can then it can just change your patterning a little bit and how you think about things, and you can then start to take in these really interesting thought patterns that you respect. That have created someone that you respect, and you can do it faster. And that's almost like this collective consciousness piece. Like we think about things like machines and podcasts and computers as being outside of us, but they're really like created by us. And they almost do, if I think about it, like if you look at Rupert Sheldrake's like morphic resonance field, right? How there's a collective consciousness that also manifests itself in technology as well, if you really think about it. So you're looking at that and being able to move faster because information is readily available, and I can plug people into my head.
The singularity is near.
Yeah, I mean, really,
Read
yeah.
that book? Have you read that book? You know
No, I
that?
have not read it. Tell us about the
I
singularity.
haven't read it either, but I just know the concept of our technology is getting faster and faster, and we're just getting more connected and more connected at like an exponential level. So we're just like here, and it's like, when is it going to top out? You know, like when robotics start to become, our friends.
Well, Westworld tripped you out. You guys watch Westworld?
No, remember
we talked about this.
Yeah.
We talked about this today. See, I can't believe you guys haven't seen it.
We're just too busy swinging mace in the park on Flow State.
Every time I get charged by Netflix, I'm like, what the fuck?
It's HBO.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But we were just talking about podcasts, though. Like he was saying, like I don't read a ton of books, but I get a ton of information from podcasts, and I'm the same way. Like I love the interpersonal learning aspect of hearing someone's story behind it, the inflections in their voice, the way they piece together the information, and there's a myriad of different learning styles, and that's interpersonal learning is definitely one of my dominant ones, because I learn more when I hear another person share about their experience.
Yeah, learning styles are funny too, like how we develop how we like to learn. I wonder where that all comes from. Because I mean, free will isn't really like a thing. So it's like
our dominant learning style.
Yeah, like
well,
you
probably know yours.
Yeah, it's like you learn via conversation.
You're probably interpersonal, and like you're able to dialogue pretty well with people and articulate. So that might be like possibly a dominant learning style for you.
What are some other ones?
Kinesthetic.
What does that mean?
Kinesthetic learning style.
Yeah.
So somebody.
I get it, but
Yeah. Oh, yes.
There are listeners of this podcast. This isn't just us talking. I don't know the thing that you have on your head right now.
Oh yes. Thanks. No, kinesthetic learners. Most people are kinesthetic. It's just that they get so desensitized in their physical body that they don't have the connection. But it's just being able to like see the world through movement or see the world through expression. And like I retain a lot of information when I see and do something, like the physical act of doing things.
I see.
Yeah.
Not just sport, but like, yeah.
Are there any other ones that are out there?
Where would it be? Oh yeah, audio, visual. Some people are. I guess there's my coach. Always said there's 70 different learning styles, but we only like have like the 7 senses as like the ones that are the mainstream ones. But
yeah. That's cool.
Pattern recognition. I mean,
pattern recognition is super crucial. Well, everything's pattern recognition, really. Like language, written language, like how we problem solve. I mean, really, you're creating patterns whenever you do your mace flows. These are really fluid patterns.
Definitely.
I like that. So when you guys think about putting together, that's like what's called the Flow Summit.
The Flow State Summit.
Flow State Summit. Mm-hmm. So what's the intention behind that for you guys?
I want to party and run around.
Leo. So Leo is one of our key headliners, but the concept has been kind of percolating for a while around these.
I love the word percolating, by the way.
Yeah.
It's so
coffee.
good.
It's coffee. I'm a coffee girl.
Coffee talk.
So yeah, it's been just an idea. So here's the real. You want the real
yes,
reason?
Yeah.
Get real.
On the
This
table.
podcast is called The Realness.
So
yes.
on the topic of adult learning, usually we do seminars and we go into a place where this is like kind of a controlled environment where we are going to learn the thing, and we are going to learn the thing from the teacher, and we're going to be there for 8 hours and we're going to take notes. It's very academic. and very sterile, in my opinion. I've been teaching seminars for several years. I love that container, and I think it's great, but I think that there's a lot of other people that would benefit from different types of learning engagement and experience. So this event is really about like personal development. Like we have Wim Hof level 3 instructors that will be coming and facilitating Wim Hof education in the morning and leading us through like ice baths in the morning. Then we have steel mace. Leo will be teaching steel mace on the main stage. Then we have a woman who is part of the Embody Love movement, and that's a movement that's about teaching women to let go of all of the like how we should look. We should look a certain way and celebrate one body type. It's like really finding like that deep inner love. So Embody Love movement will be there. We have Sup Yoga. We have all these different like workshops.
Yeah.
And you can create your own flow, and you can go learn from these masters. We got Mark Wildman, who's a celebrity coach out of LA. He does sword fighting and he trains like neural load and how to like release fear. So it'll just be like a
neural load and how to really, that sounds fucking interesting.
Yeah, because he teaches teaches like people that are, you know, sword fighting on horseback how to stay in that moment and perform that. So
wait, hang on. People, where does he find people that are? That doesn't seem like a very big demographic of people like fighting sword.
He trains people like movie stars, like celebrities that are doing that for their job.
Like the Game of Thrones cast. And stuff.
He trains stunt people. So it's like there's a certain element of like training neural load and training people to adapt to fear.
Okay.
It's really cool.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. So anyways, this Skillshare, it's a Skillshare event that allows people to create their own experience and to be out in nature and to come and go as they please and not be in this like rigid environment. And
with like a workbook and like structure.
Yeah, you can still learn from a ton of really insightful and talented instructors, and then facilitate that learning in a more casual environment. And we also have like the Skillshare element. So basically anyone that comes can also present a workshop. So we'll have a blank board with like 3 or 4 different extra venues, and every day people can go and plug in about what they want to teach. So you could teach about like shamanism, or you could teach about, you know, whatever it is that your specialty is. What would your specialty be?
Mine?
Yeah, what would you teach?
Oh God, I'd probably teach. Man, it would be easy there.
Spiritual wokeness.
What I teach mostly is authentic self-expression, but those people are dialed in with that. It's a bunch of like circus performers.
So it'd be great for you know, people like you to just show up and facilitate. And I want to encourage that, because I think we also grow in that environment where we're put into that space where we get to teach others. So this is a very experimental thing. We'll see what happens. This is its first year, and so far the response has been huge in our community, from Seattle to Vancouver, BC. We're like smack dab in the middle in Bellingham, Washington.
So it's just kind of out in the middle of nowhere, just camping it out.
It's not. Yeah, it's close to Bellingham, the town. It's like a 15-minute drive, but we're on a 60-acre property with like 3 different stages, camping in the woods.
It sounds like Leo's going to be fun out there.
I was
clothing
just out
optional,
there.
swimming area.
It was beautiful. Yeah, I was out there for, how long was I out there? 10 days, 9 days?
Gosh, it's all a blur. We were in Bellingham for 7 days, but we pretty much got 10 days of work in. We worked hard. We did
there's
all
like
the things. Video
pirate
production.
ships.
There's pirate ships.
Man-made saloons.
There's 2 actually pirate ships.
There's an outdoor shower.
There's a saloon.
I'm into outdoor showers.
There is a floating dock.
You can push the dock out to the middle of the water. We manpower it. We swim it out there.
Yeah, of
and
course.
Then people just do handstand practice out there or whatever you want to do.
I think it's a really neat place to.
It sounds wild. I love
to teach a workshop and to be part of it, and then having the open format. Like somebody might just be inspired to share their skill, and having this like whiteboard with blank spots to. It'll be interesting to see what happens on.
And I really hope people aren't like intimidated by the fact that there's a lot of really like cool, like awesome headlining teachers. Like I really want to encourage people to just take that chance to lead others. You know, it's that moment when you're leading others when things gonna.
It seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I mean, there's DJs till 1 a.m.
We're gonna convince Connor to come. He doesn't.
What's the day?
We'll get our private jet to fly
Actually, the underwear company I work for, Sheath. They started making female underwear.
I heard about that.
And they're sponsoring.
Yeah, they're sponsoring
the event, and one of the goals is to see a bunch of women running around in. Goodness,
I have no. This is Leo's thing.
That's his
Leo's idea.
Leo's goal.
That's my goal.
But I'm sure a lot of my.
By the way, Leo's adopted last name is Savage. So as you see on the title, it'll be Leo Savage.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's easier to spell than my last name.
Shout out to On It because they actually are sponsoring the Flow State Summit. They're like a platinum level sponsor, and they
What's
give
On
us 25. They give us 25 steel maces and a sponsorship because they
Awesome.
support what
That's
I told them the idea, and they're
there's
like,
nothing more on brand than ever than what you're doing.
Right?
I know, they're just like
most
done.
on brand. If they didn't sponsor that, they should not sponsor anything. It's like the most on brand.
I know. I'm
To
stoked.
tempt you a little bit more, John Wolf's going. So
Yeah, John Wolf's talking about going. John Wolf is also a savage.
he's savage.
Are you familiar with John Wolf?
Yes.
The man is a
He's
savage.
a kind-hearted savage. I decided that my favorite people in the world, and this is what when I have a partner that's what I'll need is a savage with a kind soul. I've said that so many times. It's out there looking for a savage with a kind soul.
Manifest that.
I have been.
Okay.
I've got a lot of prototypes that popped up into my life, which is great though. It's great. You get to learn a lot from every
I
little
think it's
interaction.
cool that you would want to have a savage chick. I think that's like kind of
Why wouldn't
rad.
Man, you gotta.
You got
I
it.
mean,
have a
think of
savage.
like 30 years ago. It was like the woman was very docile. They were in the home. They weren't able to speak their mind.
I
And
don't
now
know.
it's like, I want a savage chick. Like, we come a long way.
I mean, what
saying.
does it mean? So, as a woman, as the only woman on this podcast, what does it mean to be a savage babe?
Well, being a savage means being on your own path. Leo calls his students the savages. And at first I didn't really get it. I was like, oh, he's just saying savage. Fuck. But then I hung out with him. I was like, no, it's actually means something. So I guess being savage is being super savvy for me anyway. Personally, being savvy in business, being able to hold your own, being able to not give any fucks about what people think.
Give
you know,
zero fucks.
giving less fucks. Those sort of things. I could go on. Leo, you want to take any else?
Yeah, what does it mean to be a
Yeah,
savage?
so I've always just kind of told people stay savage, and I like to put meaning into thing, or meaning into thought or words or whatever. So it really just means like people would think, oh, it means like work out really fucking hard because that's that character you portray on Instagram. But it really just means be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Be whoever you are and own that shit. So
Yeah.
stay savage.
Say savage. Well, I think the thing about being a savage is not pretending.
But if
There's less pretending there.
if I'm thinking about a
Being
girl being a
authentic.
savage.
Yeah,
How did Ludacris say it? I want a lady in the street, but a freak in the bed.
Oh my goodness.
I want
See,
a lady in the street, but a savage in the bed.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think
I think it's hot when a girl can
Yeah.
work out, man.
yeah, we
Or-
talked about that. We've been on. I think that was half the podcast. Was talking about
I just
how we
keep going back to it.
You keep going.
He's
He's like ready to go to the gym.
Let me
He's like, "You gotta-"
reiterate. Let me reiterate this.
Well, I'm just gonna.
Got a new hashtag.
Now we're just gonna.
out of
Whenever
this
I'm
couple.
gonna have to work out in the gym with you, just because we can
I'm
judge
already
people.
planning it.
We can judge people from across the gym.
Dude,
Be
I
like,
haven't
we need a
seen
code
any-
word. What can be the code word? And we can,
Can I do it too?
The Realness Nation can come in and there. So, well, what's a good code word for
Okay.
when someone's being like a jabroni in the gym? Like the female
Ooh.
version of a jabroni, and it's not sexy. Or guys, what when someone's like movement in the gym makes them noticeably less sexier.
Jabroni.
I don't think there's an actual. I don't know what you call them, but I do know the reactions. I usually aim my phone camera at them.
I want to do that so bad sometimes, and I'm like, hey, man, does somebody knows this guy? I did that one time with the guy. I made fun of a guy at the coffee shop for like what he was wearing, and someone's like, yeah, I know that guy, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah,
I don't
you
wanna-
can't put that energy out in the world. You gotta be careful. You
It wasn't
gotta tone
that
it back
bad. It wasn't that
sometimes,
bad.
you know?
So this is a fun thing, like being
Because
a coach.
their boat is floating. As long
We
as-
still need this code word though. We need,
We need a code- we
like,
need a
like,
code
not,
word,
like you know, like
okay.
muskrat on Meet the Parents.
maybe just muskrat then.
No,
I think it's gonna come to us.
it'll come to us. Let's manifest it. It's in my
in
crown
the
chakra
chakra,
right now.
yeah.
It's in the chakra
But
And it's
process.
coming actually
the
out of the
chakra
fifth
mode.
chakra at your throat. You're talking about.
Don't correct me. What were you saying?
Now it's getting personal in the heart chakra. Do you want to
I
wrestle?
was
I will take
was
you
so
out.
deep in someone's heart chakra the other day.
Yeah.
Heart chakra.
Tell
Yeah,
us about
it was
that.
lit.
As your love tattoo on your forearm, just
I know. It just swoons
perfectly
them.
happened right as you're talking about. Tell
That's
us
an
about
awesome
getting
tattoo,
deep in
though.
someone's
Yeah,
heart.
shout out Katya over at Rock of Ages Tattoo. She's a badass.
Right on.
Just great line work, old school tattoo artist, but she did a good job with
Man,
this.
I was trying to get a tattoo while I was here, but I could not get in, so I should have.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's,
I'll
it's,
connect
it's
with
an
you
old school
next time.
tattoo town. I probably won't get any more tattoos in Austin unless somebody pops up that I really want to work with.
It's
but-
an old school. What do you mean?
I mean, like the art, like all the artists have like it's hard to get like a new school line work. Like it's just tattoos evolve, but this has very rooted in like
They've got a
old
style.
school ink, and it's fucking legit. Like it's like Thomas Hooper at Rock of Ages as well, like Royce at Southside. These guys are just they're fucking geniuses.
Maybe I should get mine in the Northwest because mine's very like intricate.
Yeah, so I'm getting a lioness tattoo, lioness jaguar tattoo.
A lioness,
Yeah,
like a woman. Wait,
yeah.
Are you serious? My tattoo is so similar.
That's my feminine
I want to get a
Spirit
lion, a woman wearing like a wolf headdress. Is that similar to yours? Yours doesn't have a woman in it. There's a lioness.
No, well, the lioness is a woman, a female lion.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You know.
I thought we were gonna have twinsy tattoos for
No,
something.
I had some interesting ayahuasca wachuma visions with lionesses and jaguars.
All right, so that's where it came from.
Yeah,
Right on.
from the plant world.
I need to get into that, man. Never.
You start drinking. Once you start drinking jungle drugs, shit gets real interesting. One of the best things about ayahuasca, though,
Jungle drugs.
is that it's funny because I was on. So the first time I did ayahuasca,
Do
it
you
was
have
like,
I want a cup of jungle drugs, please.
yeah, I'm sitting there and it's funny because everybody takes this shit super fucking serious, right?
Okay.
And I don't take that many things serious. I have to try to take things serious just so I can survive. But other than that, if I don't have to, I really try not to. Actually, don't have to try not to. I just don't. But on ayahuasca, the first time, it was so funny. Like one of the first few ceremonies, like one of the messages I got was like, yeah, it's not on your path to like take this shit that serious. And it's like it's felt like you got like permission from the plants to like make jokes about the shit all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then going into that was before the podcast, right? So it's like, yeah, I enjoy it because it is funny. It's like we make this so fucking spiritual, and everybody takes themselves so serious, and they walk around in white robes, and it's like the medicine.
White robes is a Santa
you get fucking people from Ohio being like la medicina, and like get the fuck out of here with
I'm
your
with that.
shit, dude. Come on, you're drinking jungle drugs, bro. You're not from the Amazon. Like, you're going down there. Some 4'5" like Peruvian man is bringing you tea that's gonna make you blast off into fucking the astral, and
But
you're
it's
going to
respecting the ceremony of it.
you can respect
Plant
the ceremony
medicine.
without being self-righteous as fuck.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
There's
Because
a
then
fine
no
line.
one can hear that.
You know,
No one can hear
there's
that.
a good balance somewhere in there, but it's definitely not in the guys with the robes.
How
Yeah.
about the people that say that they're working with the medicine? Do you like that? Does that allow?
That's fine. I guess it depends on how they say it.
Or
If you're like, hey man, do you want to have a beer? And this guy's like, no, brother, I'm working with the medicine. And we're like, oh, okay, well, obviously don't want to hang out with you ever, anyways, under any circumstances.
That's when you
including the
compliment
medicine.
that guy's mustache and walk away from that conversation. Nice mustache.
I see it in
Or
like
if somebody's
3
like- if
years. You're going to
someone's-
be like, okay, I respect the holy.
No,
the
because I'll
plant
say
medicine.
like I'll say that. I mean, when I'm in this, I've been the same way about this
The
stuff
plant
like my
told you.
whole life. Yeah, the plant told me, dude. I got
Go with
permission
the
from the
plant.
mother, dog. It's all good. No, but there's a time it's like I've been the same way about most things my entire life. It's like I will fuck around until I don't have to fuck around anymore. I save all my fucks for when they matter. So like when I played football for a long time, like 4th grade all the way into college. And national anthem, I was dicking around. Warm up, dicking around. First snap of the game, wasn't dicking around anymore. Like it's like time to play. It's time to go. But until then, it's like I don't need to get like myself all tense and like it doesn't have to be this like super serious thing. Like life is like that. It's like why do I have to like we've engineered reasons to make ourselves anxious all over the fucking place. Like to submit to that and like silly things when it could all just be play and imagination and a game. Like why? Why? There's no fucking point to that.
Yeah, I think the reason probably in those scenarios too is giving that ceremony, and then it could be also control. Like some people like to keep it really sacred,
Yeah.
so that then they can control the environment.
Well, that's the thing. Once you go into the ceremony, right? Like the ceremony I'm doing tonight, I'm not going to be in there like cutting fucking jokes about this, right?
Yeah.
Like I call mushrooms Uncle Mushroom. We talked about this the other day, but it's like the funny uncle that's like smart but like doesn't have kids and just like is kind of a goofball and like gets a little bit drunk.
That's where I'm at in life.
Yeah.
There was
You're
this
an uncle,
video documentary about
Cool,
this
cool
this
uncle.
woman. I think she was a Native American woman who ate mushrooms every single day for like years, and she would call them her little children.
Yeah,
The
you end
little
up in these
children.
weird. I had a kid on Vilca one time in the astral.
What language did you just speak? What?
Vilca's a Peruvian bean pod. It's got bufotenine, 5-MeO-DMT, and NN-DMT. So it's 3 different psychedelic compounds, and you snort it through a finger bone. I've told this story several times. but,
Through a finger bone?
through a shaman's finger bone.
Man,
It's drilled out. And the
That is
little like
hardcore.
like the ball and socket joint right there.
Yeah.
You guys know anatomy. Like it plugs your nose. And you just fucking
Oh wow.
rail that shit out of a little bowl, and it feels like somebody's just smashing you in the back of the dome with a hammer.
All right.
Have you ever
And
had?
then you blast off for an hour. It's like a DMT trip, but deeper for an hour.
Anytime you breathe it into your nose, like there's a ground up tobacco that you can do, where you snort it through a.
I fucking did that stuff one time. You blow it through your nose. You blow it in your nose.
It's like a giant kind of like a hoof or like some
It's
sort of
a little pipe. It's
Yes.
like a little like tube, like a straw.
I'm into that finger bone thing.
Yeah, the finger
need
bone
a-
thing. Yeah, we need a finger bone.
I need to find out I need to find a
Can I-
big boned person's
I got
carcass.
I got a great finger bone guy.
What's the name of that tobacco stuff that you
Hotbed.
take? Yes, thank
Yeah, I
you.
did that one time and it was ridiculous. Like it like burned so bad. It was so
fuck.
It's
spicy.
intense, and your whole eyes like start to water, but it's really good if you
very
do it in
grounding.
meditation. Like it
Yeah.
can definitely get you really deep in your meditation.
You know what else you can do in meditation that's really helpful?
Breathe
Breathe and not put things in your face.
and have have that kumbhaka. we talked about.
Oh yeah,
The suspension of breath.
the character from Mortal Kombat.
Well done.
All right, so we're getting close to wrapping this thing up, but I want to really hear like what was the best video game for in your childhood growing up?
Oh, easy. Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2, really?
Yeah, I actually named my first mace Ryu.
This says a lot about you.
All right.
This is a lot about all of us.
Yeah,
So what was
I moved around a lot as a kid. I never had like a stable environment, but I always had a video game system.
of course.
And so I just played the shit out of Street Fighter. I remember playing on this console forever and then going to an arcade and just crushing adults at this game.
Kids can play
I just
video games
felt
so much better than
fucking
adults.
awesome.
Yeah.
It was like the one time like where you're a kid and you recognize that you're better than an adult at something.
Yeah.
remember that?
I was like that with poker. I won my first poker tournament when I was
Yeah,
like
so
10 years old.
fucking Street Fighter. Yeah, Street Fighter.
awesome.
That's it.
That's it, dude. I love that. Street Fighter was a hell of a game. Hell of a game. Good
I'll
character
still
list.
fuck somebody up on that game.
I bet you will.
Good.
I wish we had it right
This
now.
is not really a fair question to ask a female.
Yeah,
'cause
it is.
not a lot of girls are into
no,
video
come on.
games, but
All
I
the girls can't
played.
play
I
video
said
games?
not a
there's,
lot.
There's some
Weird.
tech girls out there that are fucking pissed right now at
Yeah.
you.
No, I just said that. Well, maybe it's just in my friend group. None of my girlfriends really play video games, but I played Mario as a child, and that was fun.
There you
There you
That's
go.
it.
Mario.
Go choose Mario.
And I was pretty into it actually. I played with my little brother.
Yeah?
We'd get into it. We got a
Yeah.
little competitive. Maybe that's where my competitiveness started developing.
Yeah? See,
Video
there you go.
games.
You just used to dig into it a little bit.
Yeah.
I got to go with Donkey Kong.
I was gonna
Donkey Kong is
go
the
Mortal
best.
Oh, Donkey
Kombat
Kong's
for
fun
you.
too.
Huh? You think so?
Well, you said
Super
Mortal
Mario.
Kombat.
No,
You
it's
did
a
Mortal
fantastic
Kombat
game,
reference.
but like if there was one game I could pick, if I only had one game growing up,
There's a bunch of Donkey
Donkey Kong.
Kongs. You gotta break
Donkey
it
Kong
down.
1.
Where you
But the original one.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
Did
No,
you
no,
hear-
no, not like the arcade game, like Donkey Kong for
Like
Super
the Nintendo
Nintendo
or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, and you would like.
So what
the
does that
one
say about you?
The level where you would ride the. Did you play that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the mine shaft where you would
Where
ride, you'd like
you
hop
collect,
over.
connect, or collect bananas or
Yeah,
some shit. Yeah.
of
Oh
course.
yeah, the minecart stage. Yeah.
Oh,
You
so
liked it
good.
because
You
it was in the
jump.
jungle. You know, it was like preliminary
Yeah,
mapping.
no, I mean that's
here.
what I'm saying. It says a lot about you. Like if you look at all of our video games as children, maybe they patterned us. Maybe that's why. You know, maybe if I would
agree.
have played Doom the whole
Oh
time.
man, I played Doom.
Doom was a good game.
Actually, the Donkey Kong guy. So there's this guy. I don't know his name, but he was famous for setting records in like Donkey Kong and Centipedes and
Yeah.
whatever. But apparently, they just proved that he was bullshitting all along. And this guy just got ostracized, and his name taken out of all the record books.
Son of a bitch.
He was
This
the
is-
Donkey Kong world champion.
Dude.
He was fun.
What are you gonna do about it?
Strip him.
Mario's
Strip.
main goal is to just get mushrooms and get the princess. So, I mean, that's
Damn.
That's my real. I don't need that.
The only
That's my real
action,
life.
the only action Mario gets is from the pole. You know, do you ever remember climbing the pole in gym class?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only action.
Oh,
he
his
gets.
only
At the end of
physical
the
work.
stage,
He jumps out and hits the
you get to
flag.
hit the pole and ride your junk up down at one time.
Was that a thing that you did? Or you like ride the junk up and down the?
Yeah, you didn't do that.
Nah, dog. That wasn't a thing for me.
in Mario. You didn't play Mario, obviously.
I did play Mario, but I didn't.
You didn't jump on the pole and ride it?
Literally never crossed my mind.
You never did that.
No.
Climbing the gym rope.
No, man.
No.
We didn't climb ropes in gym. You're a little older than me. I didn't have that. That was like, I don't know.
I love climbing
Damn.
ropes.
Yeah, PE back in my day was.
I'm good. Like, PE was pretty savage back in my day, like Red Rover and dodgeball.
That must have been like the best job in the world. Like
I thought about that recently, dude.
A
I'm like,
PE
listen, man,
coach.
I need to get some kind of part-time job or something. Like that was the move. I'm like, what could I do that I would really like? And I was like, let's be a fucking PE teacher.
Oh, I can see that. You got your clipboard, your headbands.
Like, listen
Oh, wait,
here.
no, that-
playing dodgeball.
Rule 1: don't be a pussy. Just going there over the top like my coaches were in high school.
You ever had a job where you went in to get fired? You gave zero fucks about the job.
Yeah, most of them. Besides this one, this is the first one where I'm
This
not
is
like,
a great job though. That where the less fucks you give. I mean, it works out.
dude. I mean, literally, I get to have conversations with interesting people. Then the only rule is like just don't be full of shit. Like, just bring me your real self,
Right.
and we'll have a good time. People love that shit, and that's the thing. That's the value of the whole thing. I think I've really realized as of late. It's like all I really want to do is have conversations for a living in some form or fashion. Maybe that's with people and working with them and doing work with them to help them live a better life in some way, which is really helping them help themselves. I'm not a fucking guru by any means, but I can really facilitate a fantastic conversation where you can learn a lot about yourself and go in the right direction and give you resources for that. And same thing with the podcast. I'm like, it's possible to do this as your like full-time gig and do really well for yourself. And I fucking love doing it. I love doing it enough where I can like I'll put a lot of stuff on the sacrificial fucking altar to make it happen. And it's fucking awesome. It's so
we need
fun.
more people like you doing that. Actually, there's
The world needs no more people like me.
No more
There
podcasts?
are enough people like me in the world for sure. If there are any more, it's gonna tilt the scales and things are
Okay.
just gonna fucking fall apart.
That's cool.
So tell us about the Flow State Summit and how people can find that, sign up, get there.
Just go to
and-
flowstatesummit.com. We actually have a bunch of ambassadors that are all they're affiliates, so they have a bunch of discount codes. So if you go to the tickets page, you can select who you want to go under, and you get their discount.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the whole cost of the event's like $5.99, but all of our ambassadors have codes for $200 off. So just hook up with your boy Leo or Mark Wildman, shout out, or me.
Mark, are you? You can
You
shout
just-
yourself out, please.
I mean, everyone has an ambassador page. That's the cool thing about this event is it's co-created, and everyone's part of the co-creation process.
Sweet. So it's about 300 bones. You're gonna go.
Yeah.
Once you get your $200 off.
Yeah, and then Flow State Summit, fly into
FlowStateSummit.com.
Seattle, get a shuttle up to Bellingham, and get ready for your life to be kind of shifted a little bit, because that's
and
what happens
it's-
when you
it's-
go there.
It's camping and
Yeah, it's at the Lookout Arts Quarry, which is a circus arts community that has an artist in residency program. So we
Yeah.
actually host artists from all around the world that come in and do that stay. They have like a month to work in the warehouse and in the studio to develop their performance,
Yeah.
and then they go and tour it. You know, we have a lot of artists that tour all around the world. They go to Austria, they go to Europe and book show after show because they're just passionate about circus performance.
fuck yeah, I
So
love it.
and then we
Love
host a lot of festivals in the summer. So
Sweet. Well, that's I'm stoked. You guys, maybe you can get me there. We'll see. If I go there, there's gonna be hella podcasts coming from
Yeah,
the
I
Flow
think it'd be
State
fun.
I
Summit.
think it's going to just be a great time. Like, besides all the cool shit that's going on, I am looking forward to having fun.
Yeah. Are there
ton of
fire?
my fri-
There's
ton of my
definitely gonna be
friends
fire
are
dancers,
going.
right?
fire dancers and fire poi for sure.
yeah.
We have a pretty big fire arts community in Seattle. There's a park down there called Gasworks Park, and I believe it's like every Wednesday throughout like spring to fall, they have where you can go and spin fire, and it's like 40 people, and they just kind of have a line for people to go up, and it's safe and everything, but you can spin fire poi outside.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's so cool.
It's rad. So a lot of those peeps will be coming, hopefully.
Where can everybody find you guys on social media and stuff? Hit me with it. Hit me with it, Summer. Where can I get
I'm
you?
just at Summer Huntington on Instagram. I have a
Boom.
YouTube. I have a Facebook. I try to keep a low profile for the most part, but
Really?
yeah.
Me and Leo
Trying to-
don't.
I put it out there.
Leo puts it all out there. Is that at
Yeah,
Leo
he does.
Savage?
Yeah, Leo 2_Savage.
2 underscores.
2.
Yeah, there's I'm trying to get the single underscore.
Let's get at him, dude. Let's get at him.
He's a personal trainer and he's a cool guy, so
Nah,
props
dude.
to that Savage.
I got okay.
And
Savage,
there
Savage
could be
love.
there's more than one Savage. But yeah, Leo. If you look up Leo and Still Mace, I'm sure you'll find me.
Yeah, do it. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. It's been really fun.
Thank
Right on,
you.
man.
Namaste.
Namaste. That is our show. Make sure to go check out these guys on Instagram and look at the Flow State Summit. If you're into outdoorsy, flow statey, breathworky, party time, go hit these guys up. It's a really affordable event. It's going to be an incredible, incredible time. I mean, we'll see if I can get me to head up there and do some podcasting, because I feel like I'm feeling called. I feel like it's part of my soul's journey to get my happy ass up there and make it happen out in the wilderness of Washington. And if you love the show, make sure to head over to iTunes, give it a 5-star review, check out our homies over at onit.com. And if you want to join the conversation, go to the Realness community on Facebook. Just search that in Facebook, request access, answer a few questions, and I'll let you in. I might welcome you with a kind little message as well. So join it. Get in there. We do Facebook Lives every week, Q&As based upon what you want to hear about, what you want to talk about, and what you want to explore. Hopefully I'll see you there, guys. Have a fucking awesome day, and we'll see you next time. Peace.